The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com and Derby Inc. Magazine. Live it, breathe it, be it, Derby Inc. The Wadena Grand Slam, August 16th, Wadena County Fairgrounds, Wadena, Minnesota. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLinks1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Everybody loves Sean Gokenauer, don't they? I love watching that thing back through. Going to be seeing him if everything goes right. Going to be seeing him here in a couple days. Going to be down there for the Shenandoah County Fair in Woodstock, Virginia, Monday and Tuesday, after Hartford Fair, which is this coming Saturday, which is going to be one of the shows that you don't want to miss this summer. So that's exciting. I missed a phone call from Bo Lockwood a little bit earlier today. I want to send some well wishes out to the Bowen family. It's Melissa's mother. She's in the hospital up in Buffalo. That family being faced with some pretty stark adversity. We've been up there. We got home from Minnesota on Sunday. We went to Buffalo Monday, and then we were back in Buffalo all day Tuesday and all day today. We got back in town about 3:30. Which is one of the reasons why you are seeing a little bit of a dated intro. I didn't get a chance to fix that stuff when I was up there, so bear with me there, and all of us, and obviously as we work through some of the challenges facing the family with the illness that's going on up there in Sisters Hospital. Some of the other projects we've got going have been momentarily put on the back burner. I apologize to everybody, but if we've learned nothing this summer about demolition derbies, that family comes first. So Ben Host with me in the studio tonight. We're going to be talking with Scott Brown here in a little bit from one of the co-planners over at that Stirrin Dirt, Cioppa Racing, Kings of Crash team show that they had at the Erie County Fair. We'll be talking with Todd Cioppa a little bit later on. We'll be getting into the Wadena Grand Slam program and what we got to see and experience out there in Minnesota as Josh ventured into a full weld car for the first time, and that was
you got marred, I see.
Yeah, swing that right over so everybody can hear you. Swing that microphone right over so everybody can hear you. But yeah, he got bruised up. There was a young man in a suicide Lincoln who took a big chunk of hide on him.
Yeah,
it was quite the abrasion. And Jesse joked with him that the initiation to running Minnesota style is to piss blood for a week, and Josh is well on his way to a week of doing so.
There you go.
But that we talked about our area being saturated. I mean, we had a ton of action over the weekend. We had Wayne County Fair wrapped up over the weekend, and
I think Bath too, right?
Bath was over the weekend. I didn't hear much on Bath. I know there was a couple guys that were upset about how'd they describe it, a cheat fest. Which,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised, I guess. Kevin Carrier ended up winning up in Wayne County. So we're saturated out here. They're the same way. We had Friday night when we were up in Minnesota, we had Bird Island, which has neither birds nor water, making it island status is questionable. We had Bird Island on Friday, and then we had Wadena on Saturday, and Long Prairie was Sunday. Mm-hmm. So they had plenty to do up there, and real good turnout out there for the Wadena Grand Slam. We'll be getting into it with Dustin Anderson, who came away with a win up there a little bit later on. Did you see any of the stuff coming out of the Cioppa Racing camp as we work through the course of the weekend from their excursion up there in Hamburg?
I seen a couple pictures. I mean, I seen the look like a poster child for Crash Course and an NDC car there.
Love that.
No, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome two new members to the NDC. Jill and Chris Lancaster got their paperwork today.
Nice.
So that was cool. That's that car that you saw was a Cadillac.
Yeah.
At one point in its life. And that car was driven to second place by, I believe, Josh Wetmore. In the heat, it was driven by Josh Tagg, not Todd Cioppa. Everybody thought Todd was going to drive it. Todd turned the keys over to Josh Tagg,
nice,
who couldn't drive it in the feature because he was in Hamburg Saturday at 8, 9 o'clock and had a 6 a.m. call time with his Army regiment at Fort Drum in Watertown.
Oh boy. Hey, he had a road trip.
So he had to get out of town a little bit.
Wow.
But,
that stinks.
Still, I mean, it's really cool. You know, Todd is known for doing that. If you're standing by the car close enough and you say, I kind of like the color black and pink, then he's probably going to hand you the key. metaphorically because he uses toggles. But anyway,
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon to find yourself. Oh, Pete Hansen won over the weekend again as well.
Yes, I watched a video of that. Pete just kind of schooled the crew down there with the same car.
Yes.
He has it for sale now. I don't know if it's a joke or not.
I think he'd probably make more money renting it out to people than he would if he were just selling it outright.
Pretty much.
I gotta believe he's tired of looking at it though. That car has won every start it's made.
Yes, it has.
I mean, starting with the Keystone Nationals, it turned around and won its next time out in New Jersey, and then Ryan Clemmo's dad took it out to. It was a win. It was a win on paper. There was some funny things going on with whether they were or weren't going to unhook the other guy when he was stuck on the blocks, or something went on with that. I don't know all the details on it, but ultimately it goes down on paper as a win for him there.
Right.
And then Pete had it out again, and the back half of that car is no longer Riviera.
No, no, it's a mutt car now. But it's a pretty tough mutt car.
Stock show.
Stock show. He could take that to Bath next year.
He could. He could.
Yeah.
He keeps threatening that he's going to bring it to wheel days.
He should.
Why not? He goes, I'll run against those Imperials and run every one of them over.
Yep. There's no doubt in my mind. Not a doubt in my mind.
Learned a lot, man, out in Minnesota, looking at the way some of those cars were built. Like, I hadn't been that close to a full weld car, like what they've got in there.
Right.
Jesse Keel made Friday during the day a lot harder than it had to. He got up at 6 a.m. We were staying in Olivia, Minnesota, which is adjacent to Renville County, which is where Jesse lives. And they had buttoned up everything that needed to be done on the two cars Thursday night around 11 o'clock local time out there. So midnight out here, maybe 1 o'clock out here. We go back to the hotel. We're done. We have to go make a quick trip, which in Minnesota, there's no such thing as a quick trip. It's a straight line for 40 miles through cornfields, and then you go around a turn. All of a sudden, you're in a city which has no stoplights. Mm-hmm. And we had to make this quick trip to Runnings to get a coil of welding wire. So we got that, and we're on our way back, and Jesse got a hold of Josh and said, so where are you guys at? And Josh said, we're on our way. And Jesse said, well, I'm trying to put this LS motor back in. He'd pulled the motor in the car and decided to put another motor in, so we had to fix the firewall, had to get everything ready to go. And I mean, we're talking everything. Had to put, space the distributor protector, new engine mounts, had to mount the shifters, everything. And they got it done at like 6:15 and loaded on the trailer, strapped it down, and cutoff time was 6:30, and it was probably a 35 or 40 minute ride to Bird Island at the Derby. But pulled in the gate, went through no problems. They had to do some cutting. Obviously, they had to do some cutting before they went and ran. But Jesse ended up second in the Bird Island show, and Josh ended up fifth. So 2 top fives for Josh and 2 starts this year in Minnesota. So that was cool. But yeah, he decided he wanted to drop a new motor in it, and there wasn't anything wrong with the other one.
He just wanted to put an LS on it.
I don't know if it was that or if it was the cradle combination
right.
and stuff was going to work better with the car.
Yep.
But they got it done, boy. And if you've never had the opportunity to meet Dad Keel, Quentin, well wishes to them too. I believe he had a sugar related episode Sunday and was driving Candace Joe's Equinox and went off the road and totaled her Equinox, and there was lumber and parts of trees coming through onto Ma and Pa Keel, but it looks like, other than some bruises and being a little bit sore, they are okay, which is great to know, because that was a little scary as we're trying to get to the airport, and Jesse's getting this news via text and cell phone, and Candace is with us,
geez.
and so that was definitely challenging. Good to know that they're okay. If you've never had the opportunity to meet Quentin, you need to. He's like the most bizarre Santa Claus you'll ever meet. We got there. We got to Jesse's house, right? And there's this dude in shorts with no shirt and flip-flops welding and cutting in the garage like nothing, and that's a microcosm of Quentin. Cool dude.
Was he in a Garden City? Was he at Garden City?
He might have been. I don't. Yeah. He was there. Yeah.
Oh, super cool guy.
Awesome dude, right?
Awesome guy. Yeah, he's something, man. I'm telling you. But I can just picture what you're just saying, though.
He's torching with no shirt on and flip flops. And he
Minnesota style.
Yeah, that's right. You bet. You bet.
In the summer.
Yeah. Oh, it was hot there too, man. I mean, we were 10 feet from the Arctic Circle, and it was 90 degrees with 110% humidity.
Jeez.
Basically, we were running around a desert because, I mean, that tornado came through and it leveled the Wadena Fairgrounds
Really?
in 2010. So where they built the new Derby Arena, the grandstands are now situated on a baseball field, what used to be a baseball field. So ergo Grand Slam.
Wide open. Yep.
And it's just dirt as far as you can see, and a huge pit area. I mean, they have no concerns within in the immediate future of outgrowing that facility at all. No concern. The only issue that they're going to have is seating, because as this show gains more and more traction, you're going to need more and more places to put people. But you can rent grandstands. You can't rent pit area.
Exactly.
But out in Hamburg, we're going to be getting Scott Brown on the phone here in a minute. Bobby Brockway ended up coming away with the win. So Underbuilt 76 got the win overall, and second went to Josh Wetmore. We'll be talking with Todd Cioppa here in a little while as well. But yeah, that's
that's cool.
sounds like it went over pretty well.
Yeah.
The guys from Utah made it out. The Utah team, the Utah team as a whole takes away the win because Bobby was driving with them.
Right.
Interesting. That I think it opened a lot of people's eyes on that side of the state to what a build could be.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, a lot of people just you can read through rules and you can, watch videos and everything else, but until you're there and actually visually see and talk to people, then it puts a whole different spin on
Whole
things.
new spin.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
time.
Yeah, when you can see it with your own eyes, I mean, it's just the interpretation and everything else.
That should be Scott. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Great. Let me find your tags so everyone knows who we're talking with. Scott helped he was part of putting this whole thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And we've traded some messages and stuff, and he kept telling me that we were going to be in Hamburg, and I kept telling him, no, we're going to be in Minnesota. But I'm glad we went to Minnesota, but I heard we missed a heck of a show out there in Hamburg.
Yes, you did. First of all, I want to give thoughts and prayers to your family members in Buffalo here. Hope everything comes out okay.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot.
But, man, it was one heck of a show. I mean, I had a little meeting Saturday morning with John as I was leaving. Bobby Brockway and Ryan came in and got to see their cars. But even Sunday, when I got up there looking at these cars and then meeting the Cioppas, I was like jaw-dropping, smile a mile wide.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe it.
Did you go with those guys Monday? Cioppa stayed in Buffalo.
Yeah, they went to Anchor Bar.
First, they took the crew to Niagara Falls. Most of them hadn't seen Niagara Falls before, so they stayed on the American side. Next time, they want to go to the Canadian side.
Did you think they're Russians?
No comment. So they went to the Anchor Bar, right? You know the Anchor Bar in downtown Buffalo during lunchtime, which is, they had the Baldwin in the Cadillac.
Yes.
Fired it up?
And they fired it up and were romping on it.
Did they do a smoky burn out on a trailer?
I don't think they did one of those, but yeah, they had it fired up and just rang the
Right
lunch
downtown.
bell for everybody. Yeah.
I tell you, when I heard them guys fire those motors, and then on the track to hear those things just screaming, I mean, I can't explain it. It was just unbelievable.
Sort of brought tears to your eyes, right?
What's that?
Sort of brought tears to your eyes, man. It was nice to see, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it was. I'm sure you guys all know what great people they are.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I was able to get my wife and daughter into the pits to meet the Gullos, the Cioppas. Todd gave my daughter a pink Cioppa Racing shirt.
Nice.
She's wearing today.
Probably hasn't taken it off since she got it.
No, and then even meet Red from Canada. I mean, awesome show. I still reflect. I'll be reflecting all week on this show. I mean, these guys were thanking me, and I'm like, I just a little part of it. You guys were all them drivers were awesome and made one heck of a show.
Well, I mean, how nervous were you when everything started shaking out and showing up when those the Canadian cars came in and they were basically built to Keystone Nationals rules, and the other two teams talked and said, look, they came, let's let them run, and they wailed on them. You know, they let them know that your car's overbuilt, so we're going to look at you first. And that's sort of the way that part of it played out. Were you nervous at all with how that was shaping up? I mean, everybody was getting out and shaking hands afterwards, thank goodness.
No, it didn't seem many people were nervous. I mean, I'll be honest, the local guys, Team Mad Dog, I mean, that was the team I was going to head up, but unforeseen circumstances, I couldn't drive. They did their best. They hung in. But compared to the other guys' cars, I mean, these guys were used to basically chain and bang, but they did a great job on their cars. They held their own, but, I mean, you're going up against Gullos and Cioppas. You had one heck of a fight against you.
How impressive was that feature? Looking at some of the playback and some of the pictures, it looked like Bobby had the nose stood up pretty well on his car.
Oh yeah, he had it stood up. I think Ryan, what did him in was he dropped his drive shaft. I know Steve with that bubble Caprice was hammering people and not a great show. He just got stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know in the second heat, Ryan Miller, part of the Cioppa team, he was on two wheels, one more nudge, and he's rolling. And Mike, the freshman Mad Mike.
That's right, Mike was up there.
Yeah.
He put on a great show, and I have to give that gentleman a lot of props because my brother, one of the fair rent-a-cops, he had trouble bringing his tools in with him. He was running a regular car in the regular show, and Mike stepped up, let him use tools, helped him get the car ready so we could bring in a second chance to run it at night. I mean, these guys left an awesome, lasting impression on me that I will never forget.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of top-notch people out there, that's for sure, in the sport.
Including
unbelievable. And
Tommy Dodd was out there.
Who?
Tommy Dodd ran out there.
Yeah, he texted me. He says, yeah, I got a car. I just got to show up to run it. I'm like, well, what are you running? A compact car. I'm like, oh.
They don't know what they just allowed.
Yeah, so he said he had a real good time. He said he had a real good time out there too. Did
you see the selfie that he posted on his Facebook page? He has a picture posted on social media where he's got he's holding the camera back here and he's doing this in front of him, and it just he's about to pull out onto the track.
No, yeah. I haven't. Like I said, I haven't been on Facebook in I don't know how long. So
even Todd, he came up to me because one of the problems that kept me out of running the car my brother ran is having a little lower back issues. And he's like, how's your back feeling? Well, yeah, still having a little problems. He said, I think he was kind of thinking he might throw me in his car. Let me run. I'm like,
those dots aren't far
beside myself.
Those dots aren't far from being connected, buddy.
Yeah.
That was you were totally being asked a different question when you were asked how your back was. You were being asked, do you want to drive my car?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you were being asked a different question than he was actually asking. He was asking if you wanted to drive his car. I believe that all day. I mean, Todd
yeah. I mean, just to see what he did with Josh Tagg and the other guy that ran the feature.
It was Josh Wetmore, right?
Yeah, Josh Wetmore. I mean, what a class act. I mean, because Josh, one of his team members, I guess, slept in the shop Friday night, took a shower in the morning. They got here Saturday afternoon, and I was like, yeah, you're running my car in the feature.
Just like that.
It doesn't surprise me one bit.
Nope.
With them guys.
Not at all. We're going to be catching up with Todd Cioppa here in just a few minutes and get some perspective from him as well before we get a hold of Dustin Anderson here to wrap up the show. Scott, so what's the projection here? This have some staying power?
I really hope so. I can tell you the crowd really responded. I had a brief conversation with Jay Milligan, and he enjoyed it. And all the drivers, they enjoyed it. I mean, they're all talking about they'd come again, or either me come down there and watch one of their shows. But
Sure.
I know the Cioppas really loved the track because it was fast.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of hard hitting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's right up their alley.
Yeah, they're not afraid of the skinny puddle. No. Not at all.
no. And, before I go, I have to really give props to all the drivers involved in that team derby, because even my 15-year-old nephew who was in the pits took the hood off of my brother's car. Every single one of those guys involved made sure they signed that hood, and he's going to post it up in his garage and have it there in his shop.
How
Nice.
cool is that?
That's
cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I mean, that sounds promising. I mean, if everybody's been receptive to it, are you looking? What would you rather do? Would you rather do this thing again, or would you rather get out there and see one of their shows?
I want to do both.
It's a fair answer.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that.
And, I mean, it killed me not being in a car that day. But, it was very enjoyable doing this little part I had in that show
Right.
and seeing what a promoter does and getting involved with that. And one of the best things is Monday morning, the only thing that hurt on my body was the blister on my foot from all the walking I did and
Right.
my red neck from the sun.
I talked to Neil Jerry from up in Minnesota, who was on the winning team with the guys up in Wadena. He said he's several days removed now. And he's still sore.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Josh is still hurting, from his endeavor there. So maybe you found your new calling, Scott.
It could be. Maybe the back issue was somebody telling me maybe it's to stop driving and maybe get more involved with putting shows together.
Yep.
Can't hurt. There's always room at the table, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But I do, that big part of me still wants to step in a car one more time.
That'll never go away.
As long as you don't ever sell out, as long as you don't always ever sell everything.
Even if you do that, you still
And even
wanna
if
get far.
even if you do, I guess that is fair. I mean, what I'm saying is, if you don't sell out completely, at least you've always got that stuff around. If that does get too bad, you can do it relatively easy than versus having to buy back in completely.
Yep.
And another real quick shout out, the local shop here, he's got a place called Chris's Auto in Lackawanna, New York. That car that I was going to drive that my brother drives, that guy gave me that car. He said, here, you take it, you run it. When you scrap it, give me the money.
Who's that?
Chris, oh my God, I'm trying to think of his
It's
last
not
name.
Chris. It's not Chris Siri.
got
Siri, is it?
Local, what's that?
It's not Chris Siri, is it?
No.
Oh, I was thinking it was him.
He's a local guy that has a shop near Buffalo, and he had the car come in from a customer, like a trade-in or something, and
Right.
it was just sitting there. It was solid. I mean, that car got ran in the afternoon show and the night show and did a great job. But it killed me to see that car out there, knowing I knew it was a solid car and what I could do with it. But to have my brother run it and have fun, and then my brother let his crew chief run it because of all the help he did in the night show. I mean, this Derby community is awesome.
Yeah. It makes you feel pretty good about everything you're working on. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and seeing them guys even help guys in the regular show with their cars to get them ready for a consolation heat or something, or the feature, was amazing.
Did the Gullos, Dalton and Johnny, they have any trouble getting in from Utah? I didn't hear any reports on what their travels were like.
No, they actually had a very good trip in.
Good.
They didn't blow a tire. They caught it before it did.
Yeah. That's rough. I remember when they came to Bash for Cash. They did
Yes.
that tire coming
Blew
across
the tire.
Nebraska, and they said that's pretty much standard issue. Whenever you leave Utah, you're going to blow a tire in Nebraska. So that's good.
And,
I mean, at least it's unfortunate they blew it, but at least they caught it before it wasn't a serious issue.
Exactly.
And I can't thank that man enough. I mean, for what he did to help get this show. And then him and Dalton putting on a great show along with the rest of the drivers. I mean, it was great for me to see Dalton in the pits. I brought in Doug Allen, who sings the anthem for the Sabres games, to do the anthem for us.
Okay.
Dalton, a big sports fan. I brought Doug up to meet John and Dalton, and Dalton's face lit up because he knows who he is, and he loves the Sabres, loves the Bills.
Right.
It was great to see him smile and have a good time.
That's cool. And I think it was Johnny's car. Johnny's car was even more jacked up than Bobby's was.
Yeah.
I think that thing was just about 90 degrees at the control arms. That thing was jacked way up.
And I know with Bobby and Ryan, when you have to get the forklift to load your cars back up, you know you had a good day.
For sure. Bobby does that to most of his equipment, though.
Exactly.
And it was great meeting him. He was a class act, too. I mean, and then the winning Utah team / Indiana.
Right.
I believe that's where Buck
Yeah, he's from. Yeah, that's
signed
right.
the back
That's
of
right.
my shirt before the night was over. Johnny handed me his homemade beers, the Gear Head beer, and it was a great night. Great day.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad it was such a positive experience for you, and I'm really excited to hear that you guys are looking to do it again. I mean, to put something like that together is no small task, and to say that it was successful enough your first time out to that night say, we're going to do this again, and already have wheels turning on how you're going to make it happen. You know, that's congratulations, man. That's well done.
I can't wait to see the future, see what happens from this show.
Well, you're not going to be able to drive, right? So
What's that?
you're not going to be able to drive, though, right? They're not going to. Your brother's not going to let you back in the car. He's
Well,
not-
probably not.
He's not giving that up.
No.
If something like this happens again, I'm going to get my ass in shape so I can get in the car. Because even that day, I looked at Dalton and I said, I might have to Nancy Kerrigan your ass so I can get in your car.
Wow. Wow.
That's going back.
It's
It's all good fun, and you know, that's how all these guys are. It's like we'll pick on you. It means we like you.
that's for sure.
No, definitely.
No question about that.
Definitely.
No question about
I
that.
consider every single guy that was on Johnny's team, Cioppa's, Reg's, obviously my friends on Team Mad Dog and Team Hughes. I mean, these are lifelong friends, and if I could do something to help them out, I will.
Well, you help them out. You go support their shows and make sure you get them back out here because I know this area wants to see it again. The response has been real positive, dude. Congratulations on it.
All right, thank you guys, and thank you for your support too on it.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. I got a couple other ideas that I wanted to run by you here too. So we'll be in touch here through Facebook here in a little bit.
I'm all ears.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, dude. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye now. As you probably heard in the background, my phone was just ringing, and that was Todd Cioppa
Saying,
calling in.
saying, put me on.
Yes, asking why are you making me wait? Which is not a good thing. Don't make Todd Cioppa wait. Let me find him here.
Yeah, it seems like everywhere, them guys, it's just a total good group of people. And
Big time. I mean, we had the chance to meet Johnny and we were with
Yeah.
the Cioppas all weekend.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
in Ohio.
I popped in a few times and talked to them.
Yeah. You were there for you're like a unicorn out there in Ohio. It's like he's been here. Hey Tom. Hey, it's Chris. Let me put you in. Hang on.
The man of the hour.
Yes. I apologize for making Mr. Cioppa wait. I had to wait in line. I was talking with Scott Brown there for a few minutes. I don't know if you had a chance to hear anything of it, but he was pretty happy with the turnout out there at that team show in Hamburg. I mean, how about from your perspective? It sounds like you guys had a pretty good time as well.
Oh, we had a great time out there. I'll tell you what, it was a once in a lifetime derby for us, man. Where else did you race in front of 10,000 people? That was totally awesome up there.
Well, yeah. I hear that's actually a false statement right there because Scott already wants to do it again next year. So once in a lifetime, and right up until next summer. You gonna do it again?
Absolutely, we'd do it again. Absolutely. I actually had a talk with Jay at the end of the night, too, and he puts on a show close to our home, the Big Butler Fair, every year, which we used to run it all the time, but then they kind of, like, shied away from whatever, like, we like to build.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And having gas tanks and sliders and everything, but he said that he would be willing to do another one down in the Pittsburgh area, so we're hoping we can do maybe two, one in Pittsburgh, one in Buffalo next year.
Sweet.
Well, I was wondering how interested the Cioppa crew was in trailering out to Wadena next summer, but now with this one going on again in Hamburg, I don't think we're going to be able to talk you into doing that.
Minnesota, yeah, you never know. We'd like to make the trip up there, but Buffalo's just it's a 3.5 hour drive for us, so it's not too bad. And you know, we got a lot of fan base up in Buffalo.
The most important question. The most important question of all was, how's the Anchor Bar?
The Anchor Bar is awesome. There's a couple people that like Duffs in my group better than that, but other than that, the Anchor Bar is still the best. I think we took like 24 wings home there in the garage in the shop, and I know the guys are probably eating them tonight as we speak.
That's awesome.
He definitely left a lasting impression, I'm sure, with the motors out front.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, we come out, I decided, you know what, I want to see if this thing starts up. It was nice and cooled down, no water in it, the rat had blown, but we pushed the button, and sure enough, gave it a little gas, and it sounded really good.
Did anybody wonder what that was? I mean, how many eyes started peeking over the top of the bar after they took cover?
You know what, it was fine. They didn't, They knew where we were. There was like 1.2 million people that went through that gates over the last 10 days, and it was. I mean, I've never been to a fair like that. Now that's a county fair. They say it's the 9th largest in the country. Man, is it good? It's a great fair.
Yeah,
I
actually got to enjoy the fair a lot that day with the kids, and but I'll tell you what, you can get anything at that fair you want.
And you guys went up to Niagara Falls too, right?
Yeah, we decided, you know what, while we're up here, you know, we were staying by the airport. Johnny had us booked into the Holiday Inn by the airport, and I said, let's, you know, we're closer to the falls in Pittsburgh right now, so let's go up and take a look and you know, get some photo shots, and then we'll grab lunch on the way home and head home. It all worked out perfect. Everybody was happy, you know. It was
awesome.
Great.
How tempted were you to strip that car in the parking lot at the hotel and push the car off into the river and watch it go over the falls?
Oh, that would have been a sight to see.
You would have made national news on that one.
We got it back
I loved it.
The car just needs a front clip. I think we're going to take it to one of the local county fairs here later this weekend. I think someone's going to run it. We'll figure that out. You know, we like employing those guest drivers once in a while.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
A few fix-it plates is good to go.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about fix-it plates. I suppose. It didn't look like there was anything left behind the pillars.
Actually, now it's we brought it back up, and I got Josh Wetmore actually picked the rear end up, and it rolled it in perfect. It's just the front end now needs to be pulled out, maybe a clip, and it can definitely go to a stock class at the county fair for sure.
Tell me a little bit more about Josh Wetmore.
I'm sorry?
Tell me a little more about Josh Wetmore. I mean, that dude put in a ton of time to get that car ready so that you guys could run up there.
Yeah, well, it was a team effort. It was a couple of buddies, Johnny Haggerty, Brian Vanetta, who actually got sick, which I guess I'm fighting it too. I went to the doctors today and waiting for the strep throat test to come back. They put me on some antibiotics. But Josh Wetmore stayed in the shop the night before and was, you know, just making sure all the little knickknacks were tidied up. And we left at 6 in the morning to get everything in the shop, but we didn't end up pulling out till like 9. But you know, we got up there in the middle of the between the heat and the feature. I mean, he basically worked on everybody's cars: Bobby's, Johnny's, Steve's, mine. A couple of regular Derby guys were up there, and the one guy come over with a 75 Monte Carlo and wanted to cut the bumper end off, and Wetmore's like, "What, are you kidding me? I'll give you $300 for that bumper." So ended up cutting it off and you know, helping the other teammates. He just did a lot of work up there, and like I said, I was feeling a little under the weather up there, so I decided to. When Josh Tagg showed up, we got the call that he was coming in, and it was just awesome when he showed up, and he was in there pitting, and I decided, you know what, this kid, he does a lot for our country, number one, but I said, you know what, I'm going to let him take it in, and he had a blast, you know, so.
Awesome.
Now they got to build me one in California, and I just got to show up with my helmet.
There you go.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Right.
When you gonna go out to California? Have you picked an event? You looking at anything in terms of a schedule?
No, I definitely am going to head out to Utah for that Halloween Havoc and hang out with the Gulos, and I'm sure the tags will be out there too. But I'm going to look at the California schedule real closely.
Yeah.
I like it, San Francisco, that city. It's pretty nice. To take my helmet out there would be awesome.
Just wear it on a plane.
Keep me informed, because I've never been to California. I got friends out there. I don't mind following you around.
Right. We got to get Josh Decker in a car out here in Pittsburgh soon.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Poor guy got lumped up so bad in Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
See that picture with that like his kidney, I guess.
Yep.
Yep. That
Kidney.
was. Whew.
Wow.
He got popped, and I mean, he to his defense, the car was not really set up to fit him. The seat was wrong. The steering wheel was higher than he would have liked it. The cage wasn't really padded in the way that he wanted it, and the pedals were really close. So I'm not making excuses for him. Don't take it that way, but he got bounced around just trying to make sure that his body fit the controls that he was given.
Yeah, if you're not, I mean, I'll contest to that. I mean, if you do not feel comfortable and you're used to driving a car a certain way and having spacing a certain way, and you get thrown into something that's tighter or whatever, that just throws your whole mojo right off when you're in a derby car. I mean, that's just.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be like you're sitting in your living room watching the big screen. You gotta be chilling out, relaxed in there.
Exactly. I mean, I understand that. I like my seat all the way back and the steering wheel up high so that I'm able to turn around. And I'm a big guy, so I like to turn around.
Mm-hmm.
But I can honestly tell you that track up there, that pea gravel that we raced on, it was basically like running on concrete. I can honestly tell you, my brother Steve probably cut the speed limit on the one straightaway at one point. That's how fast that track was.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So the team captain of Minnesota Style,
Okay.
the one and only Jill Lancaster, who made her podcast debut at the Post Race Show, is listening right now, and she is from out there, and she's got family out there in California, and there is no Derby in San Francisco. However, the closest, we have a list now. Napa is in July, Santa Rosa is in August, and San Jose is in July as well. So you got a couple of them right off the top that you can start looking at, Todd.
Oh, definitely. I'll let Troy Pack pick the race when he wants me to come out.
There you
That's
go.
my good buddy out there, and I'm sure he'll tell me which one to fly out for, and we'll do it. I'm always up for going out there with my new West Coast families, the Gulos and the tags.
Yeah.
We were up in Buffalo here on the way home. We were coming along 90, and there was what used to be a warehouse or a manufacturing plant that is now all just a pile of cinder rubble. Do you know anything about that one? Was that one of your projects or no?
No,
I figured since you're running in Buffalo, maybe you just kind of dropped off an excavator and knocked down a building real quick.
Oh, was it right on the lake?
Yeah, we got about 4 or 5 friends that own demolition companies in Buffalo. They always come to Pittsburgh and knock buildings down. Nobody's ever go up there. I'm still kind of a little.
Yeah, they don't want to knock shit down in their own town. They want to go to somebody else's.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
New York State's a tough state to work in. I spent 18 months up there in Rochester, and I'll tell you what, it was.
Yeah.
The Department of Labor and Industry, their fines that they pass out aren't $250. They're like $50,000, $100 fines. So.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So what's next for you guys? I think there's still one left at the Lions Club, right? In August 26th.
That's this Friday night. It's this Friday night. It's our home track championship. I'm already qualified. I'm going to be driving my first 03 Crown Vic.
Oh, really?
And my brother is bringing his Buffalo car, as is. No distributor protector, basically built to the stock rules for the Kings of Crash Derby. But the problem with my brother, he didn't qualify. He didn't race at all in New Alex, so he has to qualify in the Run With Your Brung race prior to the championship just to run in there with us. So he's bringing 2 cars. Actually, my cousin Mark's bringing. I think he's bringing his Imperial up for the Run With Your Brung race. So we're going to have all 3 of us out on the track on Friday night at our hometown home track championship. Should be fun.
Yeah.
What are the odds then? I mean, odds are pretty good that you guys are bringing home the trophy.
You know what? There's a poll on our thing on which driver you think. There's some good drivers in there. Chris Quinzler's actually leading it. I think he's beat me by about a touchdown on that thing. So Chris Quinzler's in it. His brother Nick, who won it last year, is in it. Danny Trent, longtime good driver. You know, he won that 6 times over the last I don't know how many years. And you know, there's a lot of good drivers in that. Right now, I'm the only Cioppa in it. Steve should be there Friday, but like you said, he's bringing that same that Bubble Caprice, which he swears by them now. He said he'll never race a Ford. It's always racing from now on. Bubble Caprices.
Bubble Caprices.
There's a guy up here that's figured those out too. Jerry Ott. He knows how to build one of those.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They can do some damage.
Yeah, the front ends are real beefy, but you got to figure out the back ends. But I guess if they let you use hump plates with the back ends, then you're good to go.
Yeah,
you're
good
done.
To go. You're done.
Don't have to worry about it.
Close the book.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, certainly. Good luck this weekend. We hope to hear good reports. We wish you the best, and you know, if you get feeling under the weather, you know, make some phone calls. I'm sure we can find somebody that would meet up with you down there at the Lions Club, drive that car for you.
I know. They want you guys to come out for the October Fall Brawl, October 17th. Come out with the Crash Course podcast, and I told them I'd see what I could do. I had a couple of friends on that show.
Whoa, wait a
if I
minute.
could ask them, but
Whoa, slow down.
That's the one in Utah, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, the Utah one's the 4th. That's in Ogden, Utah. That's the 4th of October.
That's the 4th. The one in New Alexandria Lions Club's October 17th.
October 17th. All right.
And
Well,
it's a good one. And
we'll talk.
It was a good one last year. Steve took first. I took third, and that's what qualified us for the championship this year. But you know, it's a good one. It's cool out. It's
we do like that.
not too
Yeah.
bad. No, but I'll tell you what, we have fun. I mean, and hopefully I'll just get a couple B12 shots in the next day or so, and I'll be ready to go Friday night.
Perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, we got to stay in touch on this thing in October.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought this was the end of their season this weekend. I didn't realize they had one that late in October.
Yeah, they had one last year, and they were able to raise enough money to put the new bleachers in, and one of our sponsors actually helped them with.
Cool.
Nice.
Friends of Construction and poured the concrete for them, and so they're going to raise it again and raise some more money to put more bleachers in the pits this year.
Nice.
Next year.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's a great organization. They know what they're doing, and it's basically similar to Brookville rules for the pro style class. You know, if it was up to me, I'd say everybody run Brookville rules. That's what I would. I think Brookville has the best set of rules out in any derby right now. So
Yeah.
This year's limited weld rules, or you're talking about the old pro class?
the limited weld rules from this year's Brookville were perfect. I you know. Other than maybe a small couple little tweaks here and there, but I think those rules are probably the best rules in the whole country.
Yeah.
So
It's a good point.
It's easy once you just Xerox off.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Just start handing them out.
Yeah.
hey,
Todd, man, I appreciate it. We're gonna catch up with Dustin Anderson here in just a minute for out in winning at the team show in Wadena. But I'm glad you had a good time. And congratulations to Josh Tagg and Josh Wetmore for having a good time in your cars. And we appreciate every time you make an appearance here on the Crash Course, and we love seeing the logos on the cars.
thank you guys for having me.
Good luck this weekend, man.
All right, thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Good luck, Todd.
We'll see you later.
Yep.
There goes Todd Cioppa
Them
from
guys.
Cioppa Racing.
I love them guys. They crack me up every time.
They're-
They crack me up
they're the
every
best.
single time. They're the best.
You can. I mean,
All them guys, all of them, tags, all them guys. They're just,
it was so cool to meet those guys, and
Yeah.
then on top of that, I don't know what it was, if I just missed the memo or what, but then they had the chance to meet Johnny, Dalton, and Gumby out there on top of spending the whole time with David Gard and the tags.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
It was actually it was like Ohio all over again. The other weekend, I met I was up there with Gumby's twin up in Malone, pretty much Matt Zura.
Oh.
He'll love me for that. I'll get some hate mail off that one now, but
I don't know who's gonna be more mad.
it's not a negative comment at all. I mean,
No,
it's
I know
just
it's not.
it's funny. Everybody likes joking with everybody.
'Cause I'm
and
pretty sure-
that's what's funny about it. Everybody has a good time.
I thought Gumby was Matt Zera's twin.
Well,
I thought that was the
either
other
way-
Matt Zera, the Matt Zera of Utah.
Yeah, Zero Racing in Utah. Could be.
Hey, it's Chris.
I gotta find one of them. Like you know how they used to have the green foam Gumby things there
Yeah.
you could get years ago when I was a kid. I gotta find one of them.
Yeah.
I gotta find one before next year or the Derby party. I got a present for Matt.
You know what I really like is when I'm on the phone and I turn away, I'm just about to put it in, and you finish your thought, and then it's like the deer in the headlights. You know, you don't know what to say. Brian's not here to make a reference to Waterloo. Josh isn't here to just go out and make a new Facebook friend. And I'm plugging the thing in, and I realize, there's just no noise.
Well, I'm not good. I'm not good with
It's all right.
cameras.
You know who is good? Dustin Anderson.
Yep, that's what I heard.
Put that car together in no time and drove his roundback wagon to an overall win in a showdown with Kurt Zacharias and I blank on the guy's name, Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
And Zimmerman ended up third and picked up the win for Minnesota Style as a whole. Dustin, congratulations. How sore are you today?
Thanks for having me on first, but actually not too bad, I guess.
No.
I'm kind of been running new styles for so long. I never ran a wagon, and you don't get beat up quite as bad in a full-size car. I haven't ran an old iron car in a long time.
There's a lot of real estate there, especially in a wagon.
We were joking in the pits. I was drilling holes and getting ready to put a camera on Chris Lancaster's car, and I was joking with Dustin about, if you want to put a camera on the car. And I said I should mount it at the front of the car, inside looking backwards, so we can watch the T-birds park on the pillars. and we
tried to avoid that.
He proved me wrong all night. He did a masterful job in that. Congratulations to everybody. We mentioned Jill Lancaster's listening at home. Jill and Chris Lancaster, Neil Jerry, and Mitch Carlson were on that team. And Neil, he had a Cadillac that had been shortened in the front, and he lives a long ways away from the rest of the team. Had a head gasket going bad. He was out there just to send stuff. Mitch was kind of doing the enforcer thing too, and Chris and Dustin were out there trying to drive smart and pick their shots a little bit better. And it came down to it when Dustin, when it was you and Zimmerman and Zacharias, where it was just you three left. What was going through your mind? I mean, what was your game plan to get out of that situation with a win?
Well, I was pretty excited. I made it down that far. It kind of happened faster than I had thought, but I had a feeling there was going to be kind of a kamikaze there at the beginning of the feature, and there was, and I made it down to that point, and I obviously knew Kurt and Zimmerman would be together, but I guess kind of fortunately, Kurt was pretty crippled up as far as steering goes, and I guess I just tried to kind of keep my spacing right, so I didn't get put in any corners in any bad positions, and just kind of made it work, I guess.
How rewarding is it? I mean, I think it's given that Team America and on Kurt Zacharias' team were both there. I think that those two garnered the most attention going in as favorites, and behind them, JYD's team, the team from Iowa, they were probably in that discussion as well. I mean, is it fair to say that you guys were overlooked or underestimated?
We were probably, of the four there, we were probably the underdogs in the feature. It was kind of a tough deal for me. I obviously running with my team and all, but I mean the Team America and Kurt Zacharias and Chris Johnson and Nate Westberg, those are kind of the guys I help build, on a weekend and weekly basis that I do stuff with. So it was kind of awkward having to go against them in a way too, instead of, the norm of helping them out and running with them. But so I guess that kind of maybe played a little bit. They might have been a little nicer to me than the rest of the team.
How much time did you have in the wagon? We talked a little bit about this build, and I was very surprised when you started throwing the amount of time you had invested in this car.
Quite a bit. I guess I started on that car. I was supposed to go to Drive for 5 this spring, and some things came up with my motor, and actually one of the nights that I found out my motor had to get rebuilt, I found out I was also having a child this fall, and I kind of threw my hands in the air and said screw it and stepped back a little bit, and it sat all summer, and then my team for Wadena kind of fell through, and I was building a new style originally for that, and then Jill and them guys got a hold of me, about 2 weeks before the show and said, hey, one more guy backed out. Is there any way you could get something done? And I knew there was no way I'd ever have time to build a new style properly to them rules, and that car, at least the chassis was started, so I pulled it up to a buddy, Travis Anger's house, and he helped me a ton, and we pretty much just knocked her out every night for pretty much 10 days straight.
Nice.
We were on our way from the airport to Renville County, and Jesse, with Performance Ren's phone in hand, gets a phone call from a guy frantically looking for an axle because the axle that he had didn't fit, or it was broken, or didn't align, or something, and it ended up being it was a spline count difference. So this guy would have to travel 4 hours one way to get an axle, then get back because this car was supposed to be in Wadena. It was Neil Jerry. Sends his girlfriend. They end up getting the axle that they need. Got the car together. He said at 6 in the morning, the day of the Derby, he was welding the door shut on his car, and he was still there because he goes, you can't let your team down, and that's really what. Wow. I mean, front to back, the way that whole thing played out, it was really impressive to look at the cars and the different combinations of drivers and teams. I mean, some of them were very, very well established, and some of them were just driving together, like the instance with you guys with Minnesota Style. You guys hadn't driven together as a group of 4.
Correct. No, we never had. Actually, I honestly had never met the Lancasters until we showed up at the Derby, and I had just vaguely known Neil. He actually brought me a set of rims that he had picked up from a guy that made for us. Other than that, I'd never really talked to Neil before in person. The only guy on the team that I did know was Mitch from some previous stuff, because he's from the area there fairly locally. So, yeah, it was kind of a thrown together option, and it worked out. I thought me and Neil worked quite well together. There was a few times where I was kind of holding, and he'd come flying across and did the hitting for me. So
skinny pedal.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes. I mean, I wonder if sometimes it works out a little bit better, not fully knowing and having a click with your group of guys.
Well, it seems like when you have a team that hasn't driven together versus a team that has driven together, the team that has driven together knows each other's bad habits, so they're working to make sure that those bad habits don't come to light. These guys don't know each other's bad habits.
Right.
I mean, how hard was it, Dustin, to put together a team game plan going out there and being prepared for, first year heat and then in turn the feature?
It was a little tough. Honestly, we didn't talk strategy a ton, actually a little less than maybe if we were a more established team and knew each other better, we might have, had more of a game plan talked out. And we didn't talk a ton before the heat or the feature. We just kind of went with the whole team plan. I stay close and watch out for each other and just tried to make it work, and it definitely worked out, I guess.
Yeah, it worked out, and it did just fine. I mean, when you're looking around and you see those two. Did you have any thoughts on Mike Worth's car, one of the JYD's cars, 888?
Don't let him end up in your back pillar.
His car.
It was pretty fortunate to be working with them in the feature, I guess. Just knowing that he does. I've known Mike for quite a few years, and a few of them guys I met at the T-Bone show this spring, and got to drink with him and BS with him a little bit, and a great group of guys. But yeah, Mike's drivetrain and even Jaron, he broke his tranny there after he broke the drive shaft in the heat. But him and Jaron's drivetrains are just about as good as it gets when it comes to the sport of demolition derby.
Mike Worth's car
That's the one you were talking about.
Had a motor in it that defies explanation. This thing is like my understanding is they called it a modified motor. Now any engine that you do work on is a modified motor, but I believe this is like an IMCA E-Mod, B-Mod style modified engine, and it had 4 in a rows with turnouts, and it sounded like a freight train whistle when he stood on it. It was like nothing I've ever seen, and at the same time, Kurt in the feature knew he was in trouble with the steering issues that he had on the front end of that car, and he was nosing in and staying on Worth until either he got his transmission hot, which probably wasn't going to happen given the drivetrain, or he sunk himself, which that was the issue, ended up just digging a hole. Yeah, I mean, you've got so much power going around. Brandon Tyson said that there was 2 engines on that JYD team in excess of 600 horsepower.
Yeah,
I would have to agree from talking to them and knowing some of the specs in them that I don't know if that 600 mark might be attainable. They definitely sound like it.
Jeez, it was just incredible. Josh was raving about those cars, and justifiably so. Those were very, very impressive engines.
See, my uncle laughs when I want to put his sprint car motor in a derby car.
What?
I want to put his alcohol injected sprint car in
You want to put Ray Preston? Let's clarify that. Ray Preston, who is a very successful sprint car driver.
Well, now Jonathan is.
And now John, right, wants.
I want their motor to put in my derby car.
And he'll allow this or no?
Yeah, he laughed.
He laughed.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Yeah, so it's not feasible.
So what you need to do is tell him that Sean Gokenauer wants to do it, since he's already got the alcohol experience. You'll be fine.
No. That'd be about the same. You know what I mean? That'd be equal comparison to what you're saying. That motor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It was, man. I mean, and when it goes by, you're like, it's making my ears itch, man. It was crazy.
It's one of them things you just got to try once.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just got to try it.
Yep. Knowing that you've got those guys in your corner, so to say, did that change what you were willing to do in the feature, knowing that you didn't have to worry about, a rear end attack from one of those great cars? Did it give you more freedom or no?
Oh, 100%. It makes a huge difference, when you're coming across. And I did make a few pretty good head-on shots, and when you know that them guys are keeping the other guys so occupied that you can be willing to take one of them and be fairly certain, when you turn around, you're not going to have someone ready to pillar park, so
right.
It definitely makes a huge difference, having the numbers kind of working your way.
Looking back on running the round back, were you happy with that, or would you have preferred to have something with a smaller wheelbase?
I still would have loved to have. I'm just a new style guy. I would have still loved to build a new style, and put my time into that. But I'm not going to lie. I was kind of dreading driving that car out there, and I had a good time. I definitely learned a couple things about a wagon / what people say about an Imperial too. You don't just go to the end of the track and try and whip around, because it's not going to come around like you want it to.
Right.
No.
There was one time I got myself. I tried to do that, and it didn't come all the way around, and CJ Zacharias, Kurt's boy, got me shoved up against the wall there, and I actually thought I had made a huge mistake, and I worked the transmission over pretty hard back and forth to get out of there. I was stuck against the wall and behind the number 44 Chris Johnson no limit car, and I luckily got out of there, and it wasn't long after that it was just down to the three of us, so it was almost a very crucial mistake, but I was able to kind of get lucky and get out of there.
I was just checking back through the reel, making sure everything was there, and there was two different times where Minnesota-style cars went nose-to-nose with CJ's T-Bird, and both times that T-Bird moved. It was those cars, the Minnesota-style cars were very impressive, and had nothing given to them at all. They absolutely were. I believe they were underdogs out there, and they earned every bit of that win.
Well deserved.
Yeah,
well deserved,
definitely.
the way it sounded. For sure.
Anybody that you want to make mention of before we let you go, Dustin?
Yeah, for sure. I guess, top of the list would have to be Travis Enger from, I guess you guys probably had him a lot to watch him run at Blizzard Bash on the E2 Sliders team, but I actually built and finished the car there, and I guess there's not really enough thanks to be given there. The hours that he put in on it and helped and just to get it done, that was much appreciated. And I guess even Jesse Keel at a performance rear end worked flawlessly, didn't have to worry about that. And even Nate Westerberg, Chris Johnson from the No Limit team, they're actually the ones that put my motor together and that held together and ran damn good. So, and of course my wife for putting up with me being gone for 2 weeks straight.
Well, again, congratulations to you and your whole team, man. Well done, and was very happy to see you guys come away with the win in the inaugural Wadena Grand Slam out there.
Awesome. I look forward to hopefully being there again next year. It actually is my hometown, and I would really like to see that derby grow a little bit and maybe turn into something a little bigger. So,
there's already conversations being had about that, man. I anticipate that happening with 98% certainty right now.
Well, I sure hope so.
Perfect. Well, Dustin, man, again, congratulations, and we wish you the best. We look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thanks. That show next year is going to happen. Not only is it going to happen, they have added a 2-man team compact program to it.
Nice.
And they have added a new truck division. It is 80s and newer trucks, chain rule.
Chain rule. Full size?
Yeah. So you've got I want to make sure that I'm saying that right. Basically, you're eliminating the straight frame trucks. You've got humps again.
Right.
And they're going 80s and newer with it, and that's going to be interesting to see when they bring that all round full circle. You know, we broke that news about the 2-man team compacts. 2-man team compacts are shaping up to pay some pretty serious money.
Yep.
They're gonna be shelling out some coin there. And right now, as it sat Saturday in Wadena, when we were talking with Darren about that, they've already got 7 local teams. Brian Bruss among them. He was the guy that we talked to about the Metal Mayhem team compacts. Outside of that, in other parts of the state, in other states as well, with Wisconsin factored in, they've got another 7. So there's already 14 teams looking to be in on the floor level. They mapped out a pay scale up for 30 teams.
30?
30.
Wow.
They mapped out up to 30. So if you want to know, all you got to do is get a hold of the guys over there at the Wadena County Fair, track down Darren Agard, and he can tell you he's done his numbers so much where when he mapped out this, factoring entry fees for just that division, he can tell the fair board if we have 12, 14, 16 teams, whatever it is, in order for us to pay that purse, we only need, factoring entry fee money in, we only need 4 people to show up in the grandstands. That's how meticulous Darren has been in terms of putting his stuff together, which is a huge compliment to somebody putting on a derby. You know, to say, look, I know I can account for this stuff this way.
Yeah.
This is if we have 14 teams here on the grounds, that means that 14 teams are paid for. We only need 4 people in the grandstands, and we can cover it.
That's a very smart promoter right there. I mean, you have to do that. You have to do the research. You have to do the background. You have to run the numbers. And I agree with you. I think this show is going to be a very successful show. I mean, this year was an inaugural year. It's always an iffy year. You know, inaugural years are always iffy. And next year, I think it's really gonna excel.
They've laid a lot of good groundwork this year, and both of these team shows that we've talked about tonight, the Kings of Crash team show in Hamburg, great base to build from, and then Wadena Grand Slam out there in Minnesota, they did the same thing.
There's a lot of good local builders up that way. I mean, now you got
whichever show you're talking about.
Well, I mean, in New York, Hamburg up that way. I mean, the demographic around the area. There's old school drivers that's right up their alley, and it's a great thing. And I'm glad Jay's actually Jay Milligan's actually he's opening his ears and he's listening to people, because
it's good.
The times are changing.
That is no lie. That is no lie. But, so amazingly so. One in the books already.
Yeah.
We did our hour here. Still trying to work out a game plan, what's going to happen Monday. The situation is very fluid. I wanted to go. The plan was I was going to take all the road stuff, and I was going to go down there early and do a show, because I believe the plan is I was going to be staying with Sean.
Oh.
Do a show from Sean's garage.
Nice.
Was what we wanted to do. And now some of the travel stuff is in flux and everything. So again, I apologize for not having better details on that, but I'll know more here in the coming days as things develop, and we might be right here in town. Who knows? I mean, I don't want to not go to Virginia, but at the same time,
you got a lot on your plate. You got to take care of home.
There's a lot going on. So, but stay tuned. Keep an eye on the Crash Course Facebook page. We'll keep you updated as things develop. But yeah, good show tonight. Good conversation.
I tried. I do my best.
Yes. Our guests were good too.
Actually, I want to point out that I don't even think I swore tonight.
I don't think you did. I didn't think about that. I didn't make any tally marks. You're right. You didn't. Good job. You know what? There's a first time for everything.
Yeah. Counseling helps.
Counseling. Counseling. Total Destruction. Jump online. Check those guys out. www.totaldestruction demo. September 13th.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock start time in Morris. Went from having nothing going on in September to September is going to be busy as anything.
October now.
And now October. Finding out more about October.
That's awesome. September. That's right around my birthday.
Well, hopefully you can get the night off.
Oh yeah, it's October. Yeah.
But September 13th is the cleanup show.
Yeah.
I seem to remember something on September 14th, but I can't remember where. I don't know. I don't know where. September 20th is the Lake Erie Rumble show, third edition of that. Oh, Jill, team captain of she's not only does she have that you said shit once, she also has a tally of only one time. So
okay, all right. I'm glad somebody's keeping track.
She's keeping everybody honest.
Okay.
But then we've got Dunkirk at that's the Variety Club benefit show, September 20th in Dunkirk.
Wheel Days.
Lake Erie Fall Brawl, and the week after that is Wheel Days. October 18th. That's the date that was sticking in my mind. That's Fulton. Fulton's show was canceled last week with Kings.
Yeah.
The Eve of Destruction. That's been moved to October 18th. So, I mean, the season's just getting extended further and further.
Then you're already in November.
What's in November?
Blizzard Bash.
Yes, it is.
Josh Decker should be healed up by then.
I hope so. I really hope that he wasn't hurt. I mean, he looked banged up and he was sore. But
he's sore, but he that's just a break-in mode for November.
You know what'll heal that?
Huh?
Back. You know what'll heal that up real nice?
Getting back in the car.
Get back in a car.
Yeah.
A softer car.
He's supposed to be in Hartford.
Hartford Saturday. Yeah, Hartford Saturday, and that's shaping up to be a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's Saturday night and 7:00 start time on that one. If you get the chance to get down there, it's not a far drive from here. Not a far drive at all. It's one of the best shows. Pete Hansen won a 45-minute feature there last year. Jamie St. Mary was second. Mike Klinger put on a heck of a show in a Lincoln Gravedigger. Get down there, check that one out. Still lots of Derby left to go. Still lots of Derby left to go. And then Friday's the Lions Club. You get a chance to see the Cioppas run there. But I think that's going to do it. We've covered our bases for this evening. We're just about out of time, so that's going to do it for us. We appreciate you joining us here on Crash Course episode number 47, talking about Hamburg and Wadena, the team shows. Go support your local ones. There's plenty of stuff going on, and as we alluded to, the season's still got a long way to go. So thanks a lot for joining us here, and we'll see you next time.